Well, hello. Welcome to Land Title Talk, where we encourage you to text in your questions at 904-501-4481, 904-501-4481. You can text those questions at any time, or you can email them to me at Stephen, S-T-E-P-H-E-N, at Land, L-E-N-D, title, Title.com. I'm Steve Collins from Land Title of America, and with me, we have our special guest. I call him a guest just because it doesn't pay for the show. Rusty Collins from the Law Office of J. Russell Collins. And then we have Julie from the wonderful office of Land Title of America, Julie Settle. I always appreciate you being here. Rusty, I'd start off by saying what's going on in your world, but we're going to start off with Julie's question and comment.
I had a scenario approach me recently, and I don't have all the details, but in a nutshell, a lawyer had included a clause into a deed for a property. The owner has passed away. It has been willed to person A, but there is a person B living in the property, and the deed says that that person should be allowed to stay in the home. Now, the secondary part of it is that person has lost their mental faculties, so it's a secondary issue.
So,
is that legal to put that into a deed?
Is it a deed, or you said it was willed?
He said the clause was entered into the deed and recorded.
So you have a deed to A and B has some kind of a right to possess or live there?
Yes, to live there.
That might be some sort of a life estate.
Apparently there's no other documentation supporting this. It is in the deed only.
Sounds like a life estate.
So I can deed you a property for life.
Okay.
Okay.
Or Rusty, you could deed her a property and retain a life estate to yourself or to somebody else.
Well, right. I
could you
deed
not
property,
convey?
I could deed a piece of property to you for Stephen's life. And so when I kill Stephen, you lose the title and it comes back to me.
Or he could convey you a title. You could even pay him for it, subject to my life estate. Correct?
That's what I just said.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
That's called a life estate ultra V. It's about somebody else's life, not mine or not yours. I can deed it to you for life.
Okay.
I can deed it to you, but retain life estate for my life.
Okay.
Or I could have it connected to somebody else's life.
Okay. Now here's the secondary part: is they're no longer in their right mind, and they're not, of course, paying any rent or anything. So they're a danger to themselves and the property.
So the question is, well, if they're incompetent, then maybe somebody needs to do a guardianship or have them committed or whatever. If they can't live there, I don't know what else they have going on there as far as.
But their rights are like fee title rights as long as they're living.
It would depend on the words. Okay, we don't know what the words are saying, but
let's just assume that it's a generic for my life.
Okay, for life. Well, then,
and if I'm not any longer,
they're the owner until they're dead. Now,
yeah.
But here's the other thing, though. Life estates come with certain rights and duties.
And responsibilities.
Okay. So if they're not doing their part of the life estate, somebody can go to court. The person who has the remainder interest can go to court and say, they're not doing their life part, so I want you to cancel it because it's hurting my remainder. I've had to defend that.
Okay.
I don't know. I want to challenge you on that, sir.
It can be dealt with.
Huh.
If you're supposed to pay the taxes every year because you're the life tenant,
right?
And you're supposed to pay the interest on the mortgage, and you're supposed to keep repairs, and I'm the remainder tenant, I'm supposed to pay the principal on the mortgage. Okay. I keep it, I pay for capital improvements because that's the default. Okay. That's the default rules unless you got some kind of other agreement. If you're not doing your part, I can either figure out a way to compel you to do it, or if you can't do it, I can have a way to terminate your life estate.
What if the person living on the property has no responsibilities other than living there?
Well, they have, according to Rusty, they have those responsibilities, whether or not they're stated.
Okay.
Those are things that come with a life estate, unless you're doing a ladybird deed. Take a drink.
Blake.
In that situation, the life tenant has no responsibility to the remainder, and they can outright just cancel the remainder. Okay, so
That's
Okay.
obviously a
That's
court
the
case.
reason-
That's
well, canceling the remainder with the Ladybird Enhanced Life Estate. You have the absolute
well,
right to do
enhanced
that.
life estate deed is different, obviously. Yeah.
So, but on a regular life estate, remember, a life estate has a value.
The value is their right to use.
No, it has a monetary
prop-
value.
Well, depends on how long they're going to live.
We have actuarial tables for that. The tables are within the IRS guidelines, and depending on what the interest rate is with the Fed right now, and how old the person is, it'll tell you what percentage of the value is the life tenants, and what percentage of the value is the remainder tenants.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Okay. And what if you just don't want that person to be on the property? You want to assume it. Can you still fight that life estate?
Not if you just don't want it. They have to be
Okay.
misbehaving with their.
They've
The
got to
rights.
be
Okay.
they got to be unwilling or unable to do their part.
Okay. Thank you.
Interesting. That was a good question there, Julie. So, Rusty, what's going on in your world?
Not a thing.
Not a thing? You lie.
I know.
So I want to talk about liability is what I want to talk about. Okay. And, you have your homestead property. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, let's just say I have my homestead property. I live there. I decide to have a fun party, invite a bunch of friends over, and I don't drink, so this wouldn't be applicable to me, but let's just say I drank and I have my buddies over, we're all drinking, having a good time. And while on my property, on my premises, somebody gets hurt. Let's say somebody falls, cracks their head open, dies. The liability that I have for that taking place is what?
Well, number one, your homeowner's insurance will help you somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a liability portion of that. You're going to get sued, okay, for wrongful death, but when you get down to it, what is your liability for?
Well, I didn't do that. If you can't prove that I didn't do it, I mean,
No, but what is it for? What caused the problem? What caused the accident?
people
got-
misbehaving, getting drunk.
Okay, so you say you're liable for their drinking.
Well, I'm not, but I still.
no, but
I mean, I'm going to be sued.
Well,
My
you're going to
home-
sue,
Right.
but what are you trying to be liable for?
I'm not trying to be liable for nothing.
Okay,
I don't want to be liable for anything.
How'd they crack their head open?
They were goofing around, playing around. Somebody pushed somebody, and they fell and cracked their head open.
Did you cause the risk?
Well, okay, maybe I had a brick or something outside that shouldn't have been there, a vase or a vase or whatever you want to call it. Whatever. I mean, the insurance, the attorney for the person who hurt themselves is going to find some reason why that person fell besides they were being stupid.
Right. Okay. When I look at premises liability, if the big picture idea is if there's a huge hole in the ground that anybody but a blind person can see, and a person falls into it, well, then they're just stupid. Okay.
But that's not going to change the
I know.
liability.
But I'm just saying that's the big picture. Now, if I have a hole in the ground that's covered with pond fronds and has stakes in the bottom of it pointing up, that's
a
gonna
whole
be a problem.
nother, yeah, a whole nother issue.
Because they can't see it.
Right.
Okay. Usually it's more about the latent type defects. We're not in a commercial business here. Okay. These are just people who came over. They are invitees and you have a risk for invitees. But I'm just saying in the big picture, yes, you're going to be liable for everything that happens on your house. Okay. Because it's whoever has the most insurance wins.
All right. I'm
Okay.
going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to invite everybody to my house and I say, all right, in order for you to come to this awesome booty kicking party, we're going to have a live band. We'll invite somebody famous. You've got to sign this waiver and hold harmless. What is that going to do for you? I'll tell you my opinion. Nothing.
Well, okay. You assume certain risks based upon your activity. Okay. If you go to Palatka and want to learn how to jump out of airplanes and do parachuting,
Which we have a friend that's doing that right now.
okay, you jump out of the airplane, a person who packed her chute did a good job, but something got messed up. Okay, you sprained your ankle or hit the ground too hard. You assume the risk when you jumped out of the airplane. Now, if you
And they made you sign a hold harmless anyway.
right, and that hold harmless will work for a lot of that stuff. But if you pull the ripcord and an anvil falls out,
Then there's
there's a problem.
Are we watching Roadrunner
No,
cartoon
but that's just,
reruns?
it's a ridiculous example, but it shows
that's
okay,
murder.
There's
That's
you
intent.
assume certain risks.
Well, that's murder. That's intent. Yeah.
Okay, you assume certain risks by certain activities. If you have a hold harmless because we're going to do something that's a little more high risk, okay, fine. But is there gross negligence on your part? You can't really sign away for gross negligence. I'm sure there's somebody could beat it, but I'm just saying typically you can't sign away for no gross negligence.
Something that's obvious that should have been rectified before you invited a bunch of people over to your home.
Right.
And can video recordings help or hurt him? Like a
Yes.
Ring camera.
Depends.
I know, that's what I'm
Depends.
saying.
Does the truth help you or hurt you?
Just
Depends
saying.
on what all the other stuff was happening before the person hurt themselves.
But again, we want people to be liable for their own actions, right? So if the person gets completely intoxicated, but you kept feeding him alcohol, okay, and he passed the blackout drunk portion,
All right, this is not a Carnival cruise.
yeah, okay.
14 tequila shots.
I mean, if the person's, if you're almost getting to the person to the point of alcohol poisoning, and then you have them do something that's climb a ladder or something, you're probably going to have some liability for that because you're being grossly negligent.
Mm-hmm.
Let's change it up a little
Just somebody stubs their toe, it's a little different. We all assume certain risk for
bit.
activity.
I've seen people sue each other for toe stubbing before, though. It's crazy. Let's change it up. We deal a lot in Florida, anywhere, I think, with easements.
Correct?
Okay. So if you had to describe an easement, let's just say we have, and again, I like using people in the room. It just helps. Okay. Instead of saying party.
Is my daughter going to die again tonight?
No, your daughter's
Okay.
not going to die in this example. You have a parcel of land that you technically don't have a recorded easement. Now, we know in the state of Florida, everybody really has access. The question is, where's the access coming from, right?
And do you have to sue for it? And if you sue for it, do you have to pay for it if you win?
True. Well, you're just talking about past experience. Well,
Well, no, I'm just saying no. Well,
get it. Well, let's just keep this.
there's two different kinds.
Right. But let's say you need to get through my property. I'm agreeable. Pay me $10,000 for an easement on the north 30 feet of my parcel of land that leads to US 1.
Okay.
Okay? Now, you have a right to use that road,
I have a right to use the 30 feet.
the 30 feet, but you don't own that road.
Correct. But do I have a duty to maintain it?
We can agree to that.
Okay. Well, there may be a duty to maintain it.
Fine. We can put that in our agreement. Your duty to maintain. But while driving down that road, some kid, not my child, some neighbor child, is playing and jumps in front of a car of an invitee, and the invitee kills that kid.
Well, that's going to be liability to the driver.
But it happened on my road.
Happened on
my
your property.
Right.
But
Will I have any liability? He's thinking.
whoever's going to sue is suing everybody. Okay.
I get it, Rusty, but think
At
about the
the end of
liability
the
question.
day, at the end of the day, you did not create the risk. Okay.
But that doesn't seem to be the
And- okay, but-
analysis.
but here's
the analysis seems like whoever owns is going to get blamed. I mean, I had a situation where I was in a vehicle, and we're all heading back from a game, and somebody rear ends us, and it wasn't my fault, but because the person was in my car, my insurance got sued, and my insurance paid out a decent amount of money.
Okay.
Wasn't my fault. He just happened to be my car.
And your insurance company was willing to pay.
Well, I'd like to know where the reliability is. Let's change it up then. I made it too easy. It was an
Do you know
invitee.
for a fact that they didn't then turn around and go to the insurance of the car that hit you? Because it's normally what they'll do.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Okay.
But
well, you have
you'd
to
think
understand,
that
maybe your insurance paid him, and then
Yeah.
that insurance company went after the other person.
I
Right.
would hope
don't
so.
know.
I don't.
Yeah.
You know, we
They-
don't get.
they
to the
work
nuts.
It
out through all
doesn't.
that.
It doesn't fault you. It's just that's the
But
fault.
let's change the easement up. Okay. It's on my property. What if you, because you're the one that has the right to use the property, okay? I own the road, but let's say, I don't know, tree falls, hit you while you're driving, whatever. You get horribly hurt. Now what? Happened on my property.
Was there a risk that you could reasonably foresee?
Got to prove it, but what would your insurance, would you, if you could I have liability because it's I own it. I gave you an easement, but I own it. And there's any way to draw up a contract to mitigate that liability? Does that really work?
It can to a certain extent. Number one, we got insurance companies that are talking to each other. They're looking at dollars and cents that probably would never see a courthouse.
Well, the problem with the insurance companies is like, well, you never claimed this road. You never told us that this road was something that we would have liability for. We would up your premiums. We're not covering that.
Maybe you can still
Could
sue
happen.
your insurance company, and
Still sue 'em.
if it's bad, if it's bad on the insurance company for denying the claim, they have liability for denying coverage
Okay.
when they shouldn't. So here, let's look at where the liability lies. Okay.
And the reason, and I want you to finish that statement. The reason I bring this up is we deal with this quite a bit.
We do with these ones quite a bit.
We do, and people want to know, can we contract around the liability? And that's really what I'm getting at.
Well, okay. You and I can't have a contract to where you agree to accept liability and Julie has to sue you instead of me. Okay? Now, Julie sues you, you can come to me for
Because of the
for
contract.
indemnification.
Okay.
Okay, but if I don't have any money or insurance,
Back to that easement thing. This is your you have to go across my easement, and Julie gets hurt, even though it's on my property. She may sue me, but because of our contractual, you're going to hold me harmless if I
Right.
get
And-
sued.
and-
then I can come after you to indemnify me
so
by virtue
what
of her
caused?
actions.
Okay, but
I get what cause is important, but you know, when it comes down to it, that's all going to come out in the wash because they're not. It's going to be she's going to sue no matter whose fault
Okay.
it is. She could have been freaking drunk and hit one of the fence post, and still she's going to sue the owner of the property. You know that. Talk about the
lawyers. The lawyers are going to sue whoever they
hold
can
on,
sue.
Stop.
Mm-hmm.
The story of the guy in California that breaks into the house that's tenanted, and before he gets out, he dies,
Mm-hmm.
and they sue the homeowner.
Of course, they sued the homeowner, but the way they won in court, it was probably cheaper to settle. That's probably what happened. I probably never saw a courtroom.
And that's stupid. It should have seen a courtroom. That's a stupid thing.
No, because it costs more to go to court. The insurance companies, it doesn't matter who's right or wrong. It's how much can we settle for?
Mm-hmm.
That's a piece of insurance that drives me crazy.
I know that.
Yeah.
That's why we have insurance companies who are analytical about it. It doesn't matter what
So
happened.
Julie, and I'm sorry, Julie, but you're here, okay? We know this. You
It's
wouldn't
part
do
of the
this.
job
It's
description.
part of the job description. Come to the radio show
Right.
and be the butt
get-
of
get
our
flogged,
examples. Right. Julie's drinking. She's on that easement going to your house. She hits a post. You know what's going to happen? They're going to sue me.
Well, she might not if she was drinking.
I'm tucking tail and
I
going
was
home.
drunk and I hit this post
No,
while I was
they
driving.
would never admit to it. Okay, she would blame. Oh, there's something in the road. I saw a dog or, a ghost. Whatever the excuse is.
It looked like that tree was falling down. I swear to God, if it didn't come down.
They're always going to sue. But
The lawyers
but
are going to sue. The question is, where is it going to come out? You
Right.
can't prevent yourself from being sued. Unless you stay in your house and have nobody come over and see nobody, okay?
But I like your answer. You answered my question. That is, back to my example, you own the property, I have the easement to get to US 1. I'm going to get sued by virtue of that road. I own the road, even though you have a right to use the road, and even though I I have contracts and agreements with you that if anybody gets harmed, you'll indemnify me, is not going to stop me from getting sued. When Julie hits that post and she sues me, my insurance company has to deal, but then you get to indemnify me, is what that is.
Right. We get all the insurance companies.
And on the other
involved.
part, I was trespassing.
No,
So doesn't that
you're
negate
an
it?
invitee.
Yes,
You're
you're an
coming to see
invitee.
me.
Oh, I'm an invitee.
Yeah, you're an
Oh,
invitee.
Okay.
you invited me over?
No, I
Oh,
Yeah, he
You did.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Not me. I didn't invite you over. You're just using
You're
my
mean.
easement.
But you have to understand, again, you have liability for known trespassers too.
True. Even if you freaking post a sign, right?
That's part of trespassing.
Just want to clarify.
Okay. So
So if a trespasser
now,
is trespassing and they freaking
okay, so generally, okay, if I sneak onto your property at night and trip and fall and hit something that's just normal debris, that's probably going to be on me. But
if you're the trespasser.
if I'm the trespasser.
Right.
Now, if you see this trail going through your property where people are trespassing all the time, you kind of want to make sure that you don't have any like big traps with pond fronds over top of them. Okay.
These people were trespassing. I was tired of it.
Right.
So I set up a trap.
Right.
That would be a bad thing.
You have liability for known trespassers.
Hmm.
Okay. Generally. Okay. This is pretty much common law because I've never dealt with it in Florida as a lawyer, but this is common law stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So you have liability. If you know people are trespassing, you cannot cause there to be
Traps.
unreasonable risks.
We'll teach them a lesson.
You have a duty not to cause harm.
Get motion activated sprinklers
Okay.
when they come through.
That might work.
What?
You have a duty to not cause harm to other people. Now they have a duty not to trespass, but
But that ain't going to work if you're setting up booby traps for trespassers.
you can't set up booby traps inside your house for burglars or people who come in to kill you. Okay. You can't set up
you
booby
can
traps.
stand your ground.
You can stand your ground, but you can't set up
But no booby traps.
Can't
No
do
Home
that.
Alone.
No Home Alone.
There's got to be a AI video somewhere of him being sued by those two guys. That'd be just too much fun.
No, I like the one that we saw on
Oh,
Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live. There's a Home Alone. Yeah. All right. So that's good counsel.
Just okay. We got to not do harm. Okay, if you cause the harm or allow the harm to happen because we have a duty to others. Okay, so negligence is what we're talking about. Anytime there's a negligence action, in order for there to be negligence, you have to have a duty to somebody. You have to breach that duty, and your breach of the duty has to be the legal and actual cause of the harm that was done. You may have a defense because something intervened. There could be something that happened that caused the harm to be
the whole
worse.
tenting story, though, still frustrates the crap out of
Okay,
me.
I do not believe that went to court.
I think we should look it up sometime.
I don't even know the names, but
It's
whatever.
California case. Guy
Well-
breaks into a house. It was tented, posted, and he dies with a TV in his hand or something like that and head to the front door. It's not funny, but
Yes, it is.
it's
That,
not.
how do you
that was
explain that in the
also
next
like
slide?
I
it
mean,
was a
that's-
CSI or Criminal Minds or something episode too as
Was
well.
there? They
Yeah, I
probably did it off
swear
the
I
real-
watched
that's a real
that.
story. But-
Sounds like a Weird Al Yankovic song.
Yeah. That definitely is the Darwin Award.
Or
Yeah.
when the Liar Liar episode where lady says my cousin broke in and somebody broke in my cousin's house and they were suing him.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cut
and-
herself on a knife or
yeah, or
something. Like
something. And he says, "Should they get 10 grand?" And he goes, "No." And they
I'd get them
because he has
20.
I'd get 20.
that. How to get
you
20,
know.
yeah.
So, yeah. So I don't know.
All right.
It's you got to be careful with generalities on that because everything is very fact specific.
All right. Let's talk about something a little more sensitive. What are you looking up?
Liability for trespasser who got killed in a tented house in California.
There's actually 3 of them.
Wow. 3 cases.
In California?
3 cases, yes. 2020, 20. Oh, there's even more than that now. 4
Well,
cases.
we'll have to bring that up. But
Yeah,
I think it'd be interesting to talk a little bit more about that. The next topic is a sensitive topic, and I don't think that any of us in this room would ever have an issue with this. I would hope not. But we're going to talk something we've never talked about ever, and we've done radio shows for how long? I mean, we've
been talking for a while.
Yeah. So I'm hesitant, but I think it's an important topic. When you go to a party,
Well, we have lots of experience with parties, right?
well, we don't, but you and I have lived a pretty boring life. But when you go to a party and you're having a good time and you think this chick is really into you and things start getting heated, it's probably not a good thing to get too intimate.
Everything comes around to if the person is blackout drunk.
Rusty, what if they don't have to be blackout drunk?
They can be anything.
When you're in a private room with another person and you're not married to that person, you're at a party.
Well, actually, you can rape your wife too. So
Okay. But
this is not the old common law.
I get it. But if you're in a party and you're getting intimate with somebody, if you really don't know that person, there's a lot of risk. What can happen? Because again, you're in the privacy of a room. It's he said, she said. What do the courts normally do? Who do the court normally side with?
Well, if you have a Y chromosome, you're going to jail. Okay, and that's kind of a sexist thing to say, but maybe people need to think before they strike. I don't care how amorous the other person is. There's regret.
And when that regret comes and I know a person that it was interesting because they had an experience and when the experience was done, the other person swore it was consensual, but the one person swore she was forced upon. And just, well, who do you believe? And I just think it's a very serious consideration because people's lives, and we got to think about the sensitivity of the woman too, because you don't really know.
Nobody needs to be forced to do anything against their will.
Right.
Okay.
And
I think
because
everybody can have their own choices and do the things they want. But if there is any question, that's, in this society we are in, we will punish that. Because we don't want,
so
we do not want people to be forced to do something like that they don't want to do.
And I understand that. And I agree with that because I think we do need to protect. If you don't have that protection there, it can go wildly.
Well, history is full of it. Okay.
Right.
So that's why maybe people should be careful with what they do.
I think that men need to understand that by virtue of the culture in which we live.
Women can also.
I get it, Rusty.
It.
I get it. But you have to understand the society in which we live and that women have been taken advantage of for so many years that we have to protect them. And so when you set yourself, you think somebody's
that's a bit sexist too.
It is, but we need to protect them. Yes?
Nobody needs
Yes. Yes.
We need to protect everybody. Nobody needs to be doing stuff that they don't consent to doing.
Correct.
Okay. Now, I don't know how you get whipped up into something that, what you see in movies when people, buttons go flying off shirts and stuff. Okay. I don't, I've been married 40 years and I don't remember any buttons getting flopped all over flying off.
I've never seen that movie.
I just don't remember. I mean, I don't.
Those are special stories.
I guess.
I don't understand.
Okay.
Okay. To that reckless abandon of everything.
In the heat of the battle, in the heat of the moment.
Well, that's fine.
But there can be some major consequences with that.
Yeah.
How do you prove consensual sex? Just to put it bluntly. How do you prove that?
Written contract?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I feeling like things are getting
I don't
Signing
know.
here. Please sign here.
Did
you
they do the
consent?
hold harmless agreement for the
you
party?
might have to do that.
Okay, but again,
I mean, I think the best thing is get married.
Well,
have a family.
but
in
I agree with you.
in the case of where you're feeling like somebody's really into you, you don't know what's going to happen.
No.
And so what are the consequences, Rusty?
To be
If-
charged with
Yeah.
with sexual abuse or sexual battery?
Yeah,
Well, it's a felony.
pretty serious crap.
If the person's underage, you don't want to go to prison.
Well,
For that?
underage is a whole.
That's a
nother
whole
issue.
different story.
Yeah,
well,
that's-
I'm talking
we're not even
about
getting close to that
a
one.
15-year-old that looks like she's 24. Okay.
I get
but
it.
that
Still.
again, whole nother issue. We're talking about adults here, and so
if they're
still-
talking about adults that may or may not be consenting, you still have heavy duty repercussions, and it's one person's word against the other, and the fact that one person was blackout drunk is not going to be a defense. And besides, if they're blackout drunk, how can they consent? They can't really sign a contract.
right.
So are we caught up in the moment, or are we being reckless?
Right.
We don't like a reckless society. We try to prevent recklessness. Okay, but people need to be. We have an agency. We have the right to do the things we want to do. We have a freedom to choose what we want to do and choose what we do. That freedom to choose comes with the consequences, whatever they are.
So
Major.
just to recap though, Stephen's party, people are falling and dying and getting raped. We're not going to any of Stephen's parties. Did they sign the hold harmless agreement when they came to the party?
I'm just not that cool. I don't have any parties.
But the point is nobody needs to be doing anything they don't consent to, and it's on the other person's. It's the other person's liability as to whether they got consent, and they can prove it.
It's a serious issue. People's lives,
People's
The-
lives can change.
the woman's life and the man's life.
Both sides
Both
change.
sides.
Okay, look, it's people who've been sexually assaulted have repercussions, even though they heal physically. That might
Mental
take them a
abuse is
long
right.
time, or they may never completely heal emotionally. Okay, it's there's the trust mistrust issue. There's all kinds of dynamics going on there.
There's safe behavior and then there's not safe. And I even when you involve yourself with any person, same sex, opposite sex, don't be alone with people. It's what you have to do. You have to protect yourself. There's safeguards. Listen, when you're dating somebody, then you have to be careful is all. You just have to be. And to not be careful can be major consequences that can destroy your life. You can have a sensibly great, good person that is alone with somebody.
There could be a
falsely
misunderstanding.
accused.
You could
Could be
be
even
falsely,
falsely
accused.
accused,
I know
okay, and
people have
there's
been
just-
falsely accused and
Yes.
had to take pleas on stuff, but
It would destroy your life.
it destroys your life.
Just have to be careful. We have to think these things through. I know it's not really a real estate topic, but it does involve us in real estate because we end up dealing with people who have major issues in real estate because of these choices that affect them to where now we're trying to do a real estate closing and their life is foreverly scarred because of a bad choice. And you don't know if they're deserving of it or not, but it happened. They're being accused and
If
they have to
nothing
work
else,
through it.
they may have been reckless.
Reckless.
And they chose to do what they do, and they were reckless.
So.
Okay, look, everybody needs to be safe. Everybody needs to be happy, but we got to do the right thing.
And everyone needs to sign a ladybird deed.
Yeah.
So let's talk about something else. And I've been all over the map today, but I thought that
Yeah, that was different.
yeah, but it's still it's a sad fact. You just have to don't be reckless. I like your word.
Don't be reckless.
Don't be reckless. Don't be reckless.
It's okay to
The
have fun.
consequences are just too grave.
You know,
And that pertains to anything, drinking and driving and
well,
and all the above. There's just things that you don't think about it until it's too late. And we've seen some really good people's lives forever changed. If we talked about a drunk driver, somebody who just was careless and was drinking while driving could end the life of another person because of their carelessness. these things are forever changing, and
But that can happen if you're too tired.
too tired. Yeah,
It can happen if you've taken
Yeah.
some medication that
Sure.
has an effect on you.
right,
It doesn't have to be illegal drugs.
right,
It can just be pain medication that's prescribed to you.
right.
Okay. When I had my knees done, my wife was my chauffeur for 6 weeks, and if she couldn't do it, I took a taxi home. Okay.
We had that happen a couple of years ago. I was driving US 1 south near the 16 intersection, and another lady and I, there was a man erratically driving, trying to, oh no, it was my daughter, as a matter of fact. And he kept kind of pushing us off the road. And we came to that intersection, and some lady in front of us saw and kind of cut him off and got him, and we penned him in. And I got out of the car and got him to hand me his keys. He was older and just not in his right mind, and there was no alcohol that we could tell. So we assumed it was a prescription interaction or something like that. We waited for the police.
Incapacitated for many reasons. You may not be
it was scary.
legally DUI, but you can still cause harm.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was dangerous.
DUI is when you have some sort of a substance that you've ingested that causes your faculties to be impaired.
Well, that's why it's not DWI, not driving under the influence, not driving while intoxicated. It's different now.
Well, it depends on the state.
Terminology.
Okay, but it's driving while impaired.
Okay,
Okay, but you can be impaired by being too tired, and that
true.
you may have reckless driving. It won't be DWI or DUI. So but again, we want people to not be reckless. It's okay to drink. Okay, it's okay to drink and drive.
This might be vodka. No, I'm kidding.
It is legal to drink and drive. It is illegal to drink to the point where your faculties are
Right.
impaired or your blood alcohol is over
0.08.
0.08.
All right.
Okay.
So let's talk about something different. Fraud.
Don't do it.
Your favorite topic.
Well, it's
One
not
of
my
them.
favorite
One of
topic.
them.
It's job security for me.
Yes.
Okay.
Us.
It also causes claims.
Well, it does because, I mean, fraud's a real thing. We have to deal with it.
Well, you know, as technology goes on, people are finding new and better ways to steal money. I mean, many years ago in the early 2000s, our signatures are everywhere. Okay. And lots of people get the checking account numbers. Well,
We pay a lot of people, contractors, subcontractors.
I generate checks on blank paper for one of our companies. Okay. And if I need to, I can generate a check. If I have the numbers, I can generate a check for anybody's account. So what happened to us is somebody got our escrow account numbers, had our signatures, and generated very good looking payroll looking checks. Now this was on our trust account. And the check numbers they were using were check numbers that were very close to where we were. So you wouldn't even notice. And of course, you don't necessarily reconcile your trust account every single day because you put the money in, you take the money out, and it's
Well, we sort of do now.
you do
because
now.
We have
With
what do they call
positive
it?
pay.
A positive pay.
But
Back then we didn't have positive pay.
right. So the people would generate these checks, and they were not huge checks, and they would go
It was like
$400,
$500.
$500, $600, $800.
Right.
They would go and they make them look like payroll checks, and they'd go buy something at a store, and a lot of stores will cash your check.
And they would have fake IDs. You remember what his name was?
No.
Johnny Lucky.
Really?
It stuck with me forever.
I didn't know that was the name.
That was
But
Johnny
would be-
Lucky. For heaven's sakes.
Right.
The guy that cashed that check. But his driver's license.
Well,
he had
but
fake ID.
looking backwards, you'd be like, "That was stupid."
That was
And
stupid.
in the heat of the moment, be like, "Cool
Johnny
name."
Lucky. Okay, yeah, cool. It's Johnny Lucky. Johnny Lucky cashed a check.
I mean, you and I saw somebody in the newspaper who the day before had robbed a bank, and we knew him, and they came in and said, "You wouldn't believe this guy looks just like you." Okay, it was the funniest thing in the world. That looks just like you. I couldn't believe it. Okay,
And what are the chances?
yeah, and
The
it
doppelganger. And then he walked out and turned himself in.
was. So in the heat of the moment, I can see it happen. But anyway, and that had heavy duty repercussions, and the money wasn't all that bad, but the bank went psycho lockdown on us, and all of our checks we sent out had to be hand canceled. So
We're talking about paycheck.
we're talking about proceeds
checks. $100,000 proceeds
I
check.
send $645,000 to North Carolina and a check, and that's no big deal. But they run it through the little check scanner at the bank, and it says account frozen.
Yeah, that freaks out a
That's
seller
a little
real quick.
alarming. Yeah.
And then it took extra work to get a wire done.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it had repercussions in the way you prevent it in a company like Land Title. Is you do what's called positive pay, and then you have to give the bank a list of checks and amounts and
Every day.
and they run it against whatever came in, and that's how you
Good.
prevent it. It's extra expense, but it's less expense than trying to fix the problem.
Right.
Okay, so people will always find a way to steal. You can generate a deed very simply, and people's signatures are everywhere, and you can cut and paste and Photoshop your way into a good deed, or you can just, I can make a notary seal very simply. Anybody can.
They're not raised seals anymore.
They're not.
They're just a
Okay.
stamp.
But back when but raised seals didn't come out of the ether. You could make them. Okay.
You could, Rusty. It's a little more difficult. The
But-
stamps sure do make it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but we're in a digital age.
Right.
Okay. So if they want to do it, they're going to do it. The way you protect yourself now is the title companies are doing the verification stuff as to who the person is,
Mm-hmm.
the real ID stuff. But it doesn't work 100% of the time. The closing that happened where the person that owned the property was from Mexico, a Mexican national. Person that sold the property, same name, Mexico. Sent a copy of the passport. In the heat of the moment, you don't always notice that the type is not the same. Okay, in the heat of the moment. Or you say, we got the passport. I don't know if anybody looked at it. Okay. But looking backwards, you can tell. Looking in the heat of the moment when closing's got to get done, and there's real estate agent standing next to you, then when I get this closed, and here's the passport. 'Cause
That
they don't-
supposedly have a relationship with this person.
Well, and they
Right.
don't, and yeah, so you don't know.
And you think
We've been talking over
twice.
6 months.
You think twice about asking something because you don't want to upset that relationship
Not
and
anymore.
cause a problem. But well, no, you know what I
Yeah,
mean. It's
I know.
like, what do you mean? What are you doing? This
Yeah.
whatever. But no,
But-
now you have to. But still,
With the, closing happens, person doesn't get their tax bill, and there's a problem. Okay. The way that the state of Florida tries to combat that is every clerk in the state has a free website you can sign up on. If something happens with your property, they will send you an email.
yeah.
But we
I
talked
have
about
that.
that before, but it's too late. The accident's already happened. It's like OnStar.
Except that,
And
You don't wanna
OnStar
get
doesn't
too
even
far.
exist anymore, does it?
yeah, it does.
Does it?
I don't know. I don't buy new cars.
Hi, this is OnStar. You've been in an accident. You think? But that's,
Well,
okay.
but again, you want to protect yourself. You don't want to let too much time go.
You don't
by
want too
till
much
it
time.
happens.
I think,
Okay,
especially
you may
if
not get the money back, but remember, as the homeowner-
get the money back from what?
well, you may not. You're going to get the property back.
You get the property back, but not the money you spent to get the
Meanwhile,
property back.
someone
No.
built a house on it, so you have your unjust enrichment.
That's right.
Well, not if they.
Betterment.
Not if they
Betterment,
did. I don't know. You're going to get betterment on a fraudulent deed. I'm a criminal, but
I don't know, but no, think about it now. If I'm Steve Collins here and somebody fraudulently sells my property to
a builder.
Julie here, Julie gets a contractor, builds a house, and then I come back realizing my property is stolen. That'd be an interesting story.
That'd be an interesting lawsuit. I hadn't
Interesting
thought through
lawsuit,
that. I had
yeah.
to think through that one a little bit.
Well,
There's betterment. If you can appreciate the betterment, what the heck?
that's just a whole nother interesting twist.
Be a fun trial. Anyway,
I don't know about that.
well, I like trial.
Yeah. But so, the interesting thing about fraud is when it happens to you, when somebody takes a document, they forge it, they have it notarized, and it looks like your signature. They come back to you and say, "Hey, this is your signature. You did this," and you're like, "I don't recognize that." It can become a very scary situation.
It can be because how do you
Especially
prove
the
a negative?
signature. Yeah. Especially when the signature looks like yours.
Well, there's professionals that can see the hesitation and they can see what's happening. And I
What
don't know
would
if
it
somebody.
cost to get a professional like that to try to
I
prove that?
do not know.
What would you guess?
Probably $5,000.
That's crazy. I mean, we're seeing fraudulent transactions, and where we're going back to people and saying, "This is your signature." Like, I did not sign that. This looks like your signature.
I would almost rather be doing stuff. I'd almost rather there be a way. I think sometimes the digital stuff works better because we have tracking, we have IP addresses, we have ways to know where
You
something
mean
was done.
on the Ron signing? You talking about a remote
Well,
online
even
notarization?
Ron's or even stuff that doesn't get recorded, the contracts, okay,
Right.
and documents we need signatures on. If they're signing through DocuSign or another service like that, you get the report, you get the IP address that was used,
Well, that helps you in figuring out where it actually happened.
right?
Right.
And you can see
You're not going to get that on a piece of paper
you won't get it at the time.
unless you get into forensics and start figuring out what printer it came out of.
Well,
and
no, but-
what
but-
stock of paper it was purchased from.
yeah, it's not CSI, but
No.
the point is, and I've had to deal with that in a case where it was DocuSign. DocuSign has a tracking, and you can get that. It's
Right.
not very simple, and you can see when it was signed, what email address was used, which you can make up an email address and use it one time with Gmail and be done with it if you want. But it says, what IP address that's assigned to somebody, and you can actually find out what device it was. That devices have.
That all costs money.
It
You
does.
have to defend yourself like
You have
that.
to defend yourself, and it's no fun.
By the
Again.
way, handwriting analysis is not that expensive.
Really? What'd you find out?
No,
You
it
have
can
to have
range to
somebody
a
who's
couple
willing-
$100 flat rate fee to $300 to $500 an hour, and trial is $2,000 a day. That's the most expensive, so not so bad.
Well, hopefully you don't have more than a one-day trial.
Yeah, right.
Well, remember, you might be there. They might be there, but they don't get called till the next day.
Yeah. A 10-day trial.
Okay.
Oh, and OnStar does still exist.
Oh, wow.
So, but you have to understand it. Remember, handwriting analysis is just an opinion.
True.
Okay, just like a polygraph test. It's just an opinion.
By the way, there's a product coming out. I think we talked about it on the show before, that the American Land Title Association is trying to come up with a policy that will protect owners after closing from fraudulent transactions. There will be a title insurance policy in place that if their property
It's
is
just a casualty type insurance.
to casualty insurance, yes,
Well, they get it approved through the.
they're getting it approved.
Because here's the thing: if they approve it through the underwriters, then it will be a product that will have value. I think because
I think so too.
it's an insurance company.
right,
It's somebody who deals with title,
right.
and they've got to be properly
And-
funded.
And you think about it, that insurance company, when they pay that claim when somebody's name is fraudulently or their identity stolen, however you want to say it, their property sold without them knowing it. When that claim is paid, they're going to get the money from the insurance company anyhow that insured the buyer.
Did the closing.
Right.
Well, but think about it. Who's in the best position to prevent the fraud?
Well, I think
If it's preventable,
I think the title companies are.
the closing agents
Right.
are in the best position to
I
do
think
it.
they are.
And the underwriters have had to pay a lot of claims. They are almost militant about certain things.
Rightfully so.
I mean, it makes transactions harder to get closed sometimes.
I absolutely love it. I mean, it's a frustrating aspect of our business, but
From
we
a
have,
customer service standpoint,
But
it's
when
frustrating.
I'm taking the precautions I'm taking, it's to protect the owner of that property.
But if you take the precautions as you're supposed to, and something goes wrong, your liability between you and the
Well,
underwriter
I
does
don't
change a bit.
have any more liability because now I have a company,
The third party company.
third
that's
party
in-
company that takes on that liability for me. Right.
So
Which is important.
it's people always find a way to steal.
Yeah, but like I said, it's job security. You'd be crazy not to. If you're buying a property, you're buying a home, you best start and get a title insurance policy because crap happens.
Well, you should always do that, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if a fraudulent deed gets done, you're not going to own the property,
No,
but you'll get your money back.
and it will suck if you've already spent $50,000 on repairs.
That can be a problem.
Or you buy a lot and you got, $25,000 in plans and specs and material purchased.
That is true.
Title insurance doesn't protect you from that.
Right.
This is why I'm hoping that this future product of insurance that protects buyers after closing for that type of thing would be nice.
I'll be interested to see how they figure out how much to charge for it.
Yeah.
Because there's more risk with we have a promulgated rate for title insurance
Right.
that's set by the state. But are the companies going to be the same with that, or are they going to all have their own?
But you think about the shared risk with everybody. They still have the problem with the darn, title insurance companies insuring these transactions. The problem is the buyer who now has this issue, who's got to sue somebody, and it's going to cost them $5,000 to go to an attorney to take care of this, and they just don't have $5,000 laying around. That insurance policy is going to help them, but they're going to go back after the people liable anyhow.
Here's what I think really is going on with the underwriters. They're already on the hook
Right.
for the closing that happened
Right.
because they closed it,
Right.
and that deed was no good.
Right.
They might, if they have that risk,
They might as well go ahead and come up
They
with a
might as
mechanism
well-
to help mitigate that risk.
they might as
of
well get a premium,
Right.
help mitigate the risk.
I think it's smart. It's
Okay?
going to help
Plus-
buyers though,
Plus,
Rusty.
it helps the buyers.
It helps the buyers.
But I think
How much do you think it's going to cost the buyer to? I tell you what, I know a particular attorney up in Jacksonville is going to charge $15,000 to fix that. How much would you charge to set a deed aside and protect a buyer who's bought a property that wasn't?
if they just come from that guy, $14,995.
What would you charge?
I would probably be looking at, if I'm trying to do flat fee, it's going to be probably $5,000.
Okay, $5,000.
Okay, if I'm
So it
charging
wasn't
by
too
the
far
hour,
off.
it's whatever it takes. But
Right.
again, going in, I know that the deed conveyed nothing.
Right, but you still have to
I still
prove
have to
that.
fix the title. Well, that's
You
not.
still got to prove that in court.
You may have to, but you're going to sue somebody, and
Would you believe there's a case where a seller, an owner of a property, got his buddy to impersonate him so that they could sell, his buddy gets the money, put it in some offshore account, and then the seller claimed that he wasn't involved, didn't know about it? Would you believe that?
well, he can claim all day long it's not his signature. You don't want to
My
get caught.
point is,
Oh, well, there was a couple that did that with, I think, First American. They said that they didn't sign the mortgage,
right,
okay, and they proved it, and they were getting their checks, and they were with First American again doing another closing, and the closer noticed that the wife was signing the husband's name and the husband was signing the wife's name.
and that's how they got away with it.
Just caught it by accident. See, people who are criminals aren't usually that smart. You think of how many wire transfers. You got a monkey in the middle that has changed, got an email and got in the middle of the email stream and changed the numbers to where the funds were going to them instead of the seller. How many times has that actually happened to where it happened, but they screwed up the numbers and they got kicked back? How many times has that happened to you?
Well, I mean,
We've had one or two where they actually got the money,
Yeah.
but how many didn't get it?
there's been several.
Right, because they're dumb.
Right.
If you're going to be a criminal, you got to be a smart one.
No, I like the dumb ones better.
Well, the dumb ones are more fun.
Yeah, dumb ones are more fun.
Okay, but the point is, it's like the people who send you you owe the IRS a bunch of money and we want it in gift cards for some reason. But you read the letter and there's misspellings and it cites to United States Code, but then in the parentheses it says United States Constitution. Like, somebody got scammed by this?
Can happen.
I know.
I like the phone calls that an 82-year-old gets saying, we want to sell you life insurance. My father pulls me aside and says, son, I think you should really think about doing this for me. I'm like, Dad, anybody selling you a life insurance policy at 82? I don't know.
Well, you can always get life insurance. If you need $100,000 policy and willing to give me $115,000, I'll be more than happy to insure you.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it probably is.
So, everything, people need to take care of business. Okay.
You're not talking about the fraudsters. You're talking about
No, I'm talking about people.
The
People need to
non-fraudsters.
protect themselves. Okay.
the fraudsters. Got to get their business.
How many people get the letter if they make a company or they buy a house? They get the letter that we give you a property information report, a copy of your deed, and whatever.
That's not fraud.
It's not fraud.
That's a legitimate
for
business.
for $195.
It's a legitimate
It's
business.
a heck of a deal. But it looks like something that's
Official.
important. It's official and tiny fine print that nobody reads because we don't read stuff. Okay. It says this is not something you have to have. This is not a government office. Okay. This is purely a service. It's a service. Paying too much for it, but it's a service.
It's legit.
It's legitimate, but you don't need it.
No, you do not need it.
Okay. So, but people don't read enough. And I get many calls about this in a year. Okay. Probably 15, 20 of them. Or the people that you get the text message that your tolls
Oh
haven't
yeah,
been paid.
you got to beat your tolls. Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't look at you see the Florida DMV website information, but you don't look at it completely. Okay. And it's not, of course, it's not the Florida kind of thing. And if you have a Sun Pass, you don't have to worry about it anyway. They just charge your credit card.
Right.
So it's just, people are reacting. My wife got a text about somebody wanting to talk to her about the recent purchase of an iPhone 17 Pro Max. I said, well, we got iPhone 16 Pro Max. We don't have an iPhone 17. Okay. She was somewhat concerned. Okay. I was, look kind of official. I said, but we don't have one of those, dear. So you just have to read. And again, they're looking for a knee-jerk reaction.
Or the phone calls. Get to your computer and you see that little Windows button and type in this code, and
Oh yeah.
so we can help you out because you've got.
We want to
you've got
give you
some
a
kind of
refund.
virus.
No, we want to give you a refund.
Oh yeah, refund or
Okay.
virus or whatever.
Oh my goodness, we're supposed to give you $395. We gave you $30,950. You need to give it back to us.
Right.
We want gift cards. But people have lost tons of money doing that. You know why they do it? It works.
It's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game, and people will always find a way to steal. So you have to protect yourself. We don't need to knee jerk everything. We can, if it's something's on sale today, if it's a good price today, it'll probably be the same good price tomorrow too. If it's not, well, maybe you don't need it.
Well, this has been Land Title Talk. We appreciate you joining in with us. Again, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, you can call me on my cell phone, 904-501-4481, 904-501-4481. Email me, Stephen, Stephen, at golandtitle.com, GOLANDTITLE.com. And also, we want to remind you, when it comes to owner's title insurance, have one. It's expensive to be right. It's expensive to be innocent. Protect your real estate ownership with an owner's title insurance policy from Land Title of America. And always remember, when it comes to refinancing your house, don't use these bank-owned title companies. Stay local so that you can actually come by and see somebody when you have a challenge or a problem or a question. So we appreciate you being with us. Rusty, how do people find you?
904-829-6600. And
Ask
ask
for
for Ben.
Yeah, ask for Ben. Don't.
Please.
And
ask
then,
for
Julie,
them.
appreciate you being with us as always, looking up
Pleasure.
facts and letting us know very important facts like, there's 3 cases in California.
More.
Yeah, and OnStar's still a thing. But thank you very much. We'll see you next week.